Meanwhile, at the Capitol, radical leftists have occupied Speaker Kevin McCarthy's office. Yes, you heard that correctly. Radical leftists have occupied the office of House Speaker Kevin McCarthy. This is a video of it. Take a look at what they're doing. They're staging a sit-in to protest the fact that Republicans are opposing legislation that they want. This is legislation related to AIDS, HIV/AIDS. You can see them. They're occupying the office. So what's very interesting about this? What's very interesting about this would be an answer to the question, and any leftist is welcome to weigh in here, particularly leftists who are celebrating the convictions of the Proud Boys for their role in January 6th. I would really appreciate an explanation for why what we just saw, this occupation of Speaker McCarthy's office, doesn't qualify as obstruction of an official proceeding. If you are in an office in the Capitol where you are not supposed to be, and you are yelling and screaming in order to influence government officials to do something that they don't want to do, and you are stopping or impeding in some way the operations of a U.S. or a member of the U.S. Congress, how is this not obstruction of an official proceeding using the definition that the Department of Justice has leveraged against January 6th defendants? How come these people aren't being thrown into pretrial detention for 2 years? How come they're not in solitary confinement? How come they're not being charged as seditious conspiracists trying to overthrow the U.S. government? Because isn't that kind of the same thing? Because if it's not, then I need the left to explain to me what the difference is between people on January 6th who were walking peacefully through the Capitol, accompanied by police officers. You know, the guy that put his feet on Speaker Pelosi's desk, he's in prison for 4 years. How come these people are walking free? What is the difference? The difference, of course, is just the politics of the people, which shows you that we live in a two-tiered system. So the U.S. Open, this was one of the funniest things. I didn't get a chance to watch it this past weekend, although I was following along, mostly on X, formerly known as Twitter. But Novak Djokovic, you're familiar with that name, because he's not only one of the best tennis players in the entire world, he was barred from playing in the U.S. Open last year because he declined the COVID vaccine, and he wasn't allowed to enter the United States because he is not a U.S. citizen. You remember this. And he stuck to his guns, which I was very impressed by. I have a ton of respect for people who are willing to stand by their principles, even when it means, in this case, probably losing out on another U.S. Open title. Novak Djokovic, nonetheless, stuck to his guns. He did not cave. He did not get the COVID vaccine. Well, finally, the U.S. rescinded their vaccine mandate for entry into the United States for foreign nationals. So Novak Djokovic was allowed to play in the 2023 U.S. Open. He won. He's an incredible tennis player. At the end of the match, there is a featured shot of the day. It's usually the winning shot that shows, the champion actually emerging as a champion. And this is the shot of the day, but please, please listen very closely to who is the sponsor of this shot of the day. Take a look.
Oh boy. Well, we'll take you to the Moderna shot of the day, and it was
saving the match point. Oh, the
match point to get to number 24. There were a lot of shots that were highly impactful, but here's the final one. Another day at the office. Relief and release there.
And there it is. He won.
So the shot of the day brought to you
shaking
by
hands
Moderna.
with his opponents. The shot of the day brought to you by Moderna. Brought to you by Moderna. That is the height of poetic justice. I could not be more thrilled that Djokovic won the U.S. Open, specifically so we could get that video clip of the Moderna shot of the day with the unvaxxed Djokovic winning that spot. And this, the status where we found, or that post on X where we found that, or saw that video, look at this caption. It says, seems Novak knows how to pick his shots, both on and off the court. Excellent pun. Excellent pun. Excellent pun. Meanwhile, Sports Center, if we could bring this up on the screen. So on the women's side of the U.S. Open, Sports Center described Coco Gauff winning the women's U.S. Open. It says Coco Gauff took a moment to soak it all in after winning her first Grand Slam title. However, soak it all in is interesting verbiage for Sports Center to choose given what Coco Gauff actually did. So let's play this video and I'll narrate it for those of you who aren't watching. She gets off of her chair. She kneels before her chair, folds her hands, bows her head, obviously praying. Could not be clearer that this woman dropped to her knees to thank the Lord for the victory that she just obtained with the body that God created her with. And yet, all Sports Center can say is, she took a moment to soak it all in. No. She was praying. She was praying to God. She was praying to Jesus Christ. And you can't bring yourself to say that because our culture is so anti-Christian that they can't even acknowledge that the vast majority of us are still active, practicing Christians here. Robert Reich is a Berkeley professor, which kind of right there tells you all you need to know. He's also the former Secretary of Labor, and he made a post on X that went viral. It's been viewed by over 2.5 million people, and this is what he said. He said, the next time you hear conservatives use any of the following terms, ask for a definition, they won't have any. The terms he listed are woke, critical race theory, cancel culture, and socialism. He then goes on to say they just want to stoke culture wars to divert attention from economic looting and oligarchy. So economic looting and oligarchy, he's referring to the free market economy here. But I do think this is actually an important point to bring up. The definitions of these terms are important. It's important for us as conservatives to understand them. We've talked about this as it relates to the word woke, especially because over the past couple months, there have been instances where conservatives haven't been able to define the word woke because, and it's not necessarily a reflection on conservatives' lack of understanding of what wokeness is. It's something that we can a lot of us just recognize. We know that that's woke when we see it, even if we can't give an academic definition of it. However, an academic definition is still really important. So I'd like to offer some definitions to Robert Reich for what these terms mean. The word woke or wokeness is just the modern euphemism for Paulo Freire's critical consciousness. Paulo Freire is a Brazilian Marxist who I discuss at length in my book, Hide Your Children, Exposing the Marxists Behind the Attack on America's Kids. And he contended that there's no such thing as knowledge. There's no such thing as truth. What teachers teach to children in school, this was his contention, is just the prevailing political narrative. Whoever is the winner of the political narrative competition gets the claim on the word knowledge.
Hi guys, it's Liz Wheeler. Don't forget to watch my show, The Liz Wheeler Show, every night at 7 p.m. on the First TV. You can download the free First TV app, or you can visit thefirsttv.com/Liz and start watching today.